very well, he's going to be able to re-qualify, and he's going to put himself in pole position for success in the future. But speaking of the man here, bottom left-hand side of Data C, played very well yesterday, but he's going to have to step it up another notch. It's the Red Terran, Lemon.
That is the mystery gaming player coming up against the onside gaming player, spawning on the right-hand side of the map in the blue. It is Rex. And one thing I wanted to come back to with the race switch thing for Lemon was that, and I read this on the internet, so it must be true. He started playing Terran to avoid ZVZ.
Yeah, I think I saw something like that, yeah.
Yeah, interesting, because it's not the heaviest Zerg region. So is that like a ladder experience? Is that online cups that tilted him into deciding, you know what, I don't even want to play this matchup? But certainly, if you play Zerg and then you switch to Terran, you have a really strong understanding of how a Zerg would play this matchup. So coming up against a Zerg like Rex, maybe that actually really helps and he'll do quite well. It's maybe the finer points of playing Terran, like the little nuances in the builds, maybe the control, that might be what costs you the game in the end. But
I mean, I could definitely like vibe with that, because I used to really like two of the like PV matchups, but I also played Zerg on another account to like a similar-ish level, like maybe a little bit lower. And I really liked two of the matchups ZV and two of the matchups PV. And then, you know, obviously back then when I was playing, you couldn't pick your own race and then like ladder with it. You had to literally like manually switch, and your MMR just remained the same. So it was always a bit of a what's the word, like just roll the dice and see what happens. And half the time in the loading screen, I just mentally give up.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that if we've been on the ladder, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, we have a 1-1-1 opener here from Lemon, and he's getting his first couple of Hellions out here. We'll see where we go from here, but otherwise a very normal looking opening from Rex on the other side of the map as well.
Yeah, Lemon, see him probably heading towards the Banshee or Raven, depending on which, you know, the route of safety, or whether he wants to go for the route of a bit more harassment. That is at least going to be spotted out there by Rex, so he's not going to be too surprised about anything coming up. It's actually going to be BC. Yeah, so I vibe with this. Got the Hellions rolling around, BC looking for some damage as well. And let's see how Rex deals with this.
Actually, yeah, because he hit that gas first. He got on that second gas pretty quick as well. And now we see him taking the double gas and the natural at 3 minutes 30. So I think if Rex is able to come in again with a Ling or two and just have a look around, because he doesn't actually have an overlord on this side of the map anymore, he'll be able to get the information to be like, okay, hold on, why do you need such an insane amount of gas right now? And it's pretty obvious without my head, but nonetheless, having seen the tech lab there, Rex already getting spore crawlers. He's got 3 queens on the way, and if you keep pumping the queens, you should be all right.
He's doubling down. It's not just BC for harassment. He's committing. It's been there's always like I said, a couple of months gap. Dear Lord, there's a couple of months gap before between when I watched StarCraft, and look, I remember watching a lot of, you know, TVZ play where we're zooming around, you know, 1 or 2 battle cruisers sensibly out of 1 starport. We're getting guaranteed damage done. We're maybe killing a queen. We're killing a couple of drones. We're killing a couple of overlords. But am I missing something here? Is this crazy or no?
It's a little wild. You could say that, yeah.
He's scouted it though. He's gotten up the ramp, I think.
Going for Yamato cannon, you should have seen the gas and like the sheer lack of anything. The other thing is that Lemon hasn't ventured out on the map at all, really. He's just stayed at home with what little he has. Those Hellions are going to go down, which is not ideal, because now, like, obviously the BCs are going to come out here, so not the hugest deal, but he has no map control here, so he can't actually be cleaning up the creep tumors or anything unless the BC sort of slides over one when it hops.
Oof.
But we're going deep on this. We're going
We're
2 per
zapping
BC.
queens.
Yeah, with the cannon. You're absolutely right.
That's definitely going to make the inject cycles a bit sadder, but you can already see Rex pumping additional queens, so maybe he's already got decent creep thread going for himself as well, so it's not going to trouble him too much. And off the back of these BCs, Lemon going to try and build himself up a third CC. Remains to be seen how quickly he's going to be able to land that without too much of a ground army for the foreseeable future, but we will see. This
Yeah.
that is so many queens, man. Holy.
Well, that's what you need, because it's a while before you're going to have any lair tech that can help you against the BCs, and because they're so chunky, you actually do need quite a number to deal with them. Otherwise, you get Yamato happening, you lose a queen here, you lose the queen there, and suddenly you actually don't have enough to sort of patrol around and fend it off. But I do like that Rex, with his next 100 gas after speed, went straight into the lair, so he's going to be heading towards that spire. Yeah, it is. I don't know that he can save that.
Damn, that's such a good pick off. Did he even know about that, or did you just kind of TP there by chance?
I'm not sure that he saw it, but
that is such a weird spot for a spire. I guess in the natural, definitely have seen that before. Gonna zap more and more of these queens. Oh, that's really, really close, but he keeps that BC alive. This is great value coming out here for Lemon. He's controlling this really well.
Gosh, it's so annoying as a Zerg player to deal with. And the queens are now out of transfuses, so they're going to start dropping like flies here, and this is where things get really dicey for you. He's still producing queens, but he really wants that spire. He's got 2 spires building because he's having a really hard time getting them to actually finish that. It's a kill too, not a cancel, so he loses that investment.
He's got like 1k gas that is he's just hoarding. He really wants to throw that into some corruptors or something, but he's just never gotten the opportunity to do it. We're gonna bap another queen with the Yamato cannon, and oh man, this is looking damn good for Lemon. How does Rex recover from this? Look, let's be real. He hasn't really taken any economic damage here too much here, Zeph, but like, where is the answer for these BCs?
Yeah, I think there's a few questions here. The BCs will eventually be dealt with. It is a huge
not again.
pain in the ass, but he'll get there.
He's never going to get a spire. Cancel it, please.
Oh my goodness. Rex, my guy. Come on.
What is going on?
Look,
he's going to start another 2.
A little bit tilted at this, to be honest.
I feel like at this point, you run a drone down to the bottom right, you hatch, you cancel the hatch, and you start building that spire in the bottom right. That's the safest option at this point, I'm convinced.
It's the most tilted way to build a spire at this point in the game. We see Rex actually trying to throw some roaches at his opponent to get something happening, kill some workers, delete some army, something to get this off his back, but he's really struggling, and he's making a lot of spores to try and make a safe haven for these spires to build, but he just have queens. Cancelled that one, thank goodness. He's going to lose a hatchery here, and this is actually starting to add up a little bit.
He's building 3 spires.
One of them's eventually got to finish, Pilsky. We'll get there.
I think, look at him hard committing. He just wants to stop every spire. He's going to Yamato. He's going to just commit the Yamatos to the spire. Forget about it. In the background, though, a lot of SCVs dying to what I'm assuming is a bit of a run-by here. And there is no answer to that. Focusing on the lair here now.
Oh, boy.
Lemon has got 4 CCs up, but he's losing SCVs in the background down to 40 workers.
This is such a weird game. These BCs have no right living this long, but they do because they're so beefy. You can take them home, repair them, come back for round 2, round 3, round 4. And now we're seeing a situation where Rex is actually starting to lose a lot. He's losing spire after spire. His mining's interrupted.
Has he finished
He's
one
losing
yet?
hatcheries. No, he hasn't. He has not.
My god.
Look how much money he has, because he just wants to get those air units out. He's finally going to get a spire finished here. You see the scans coming down from Lemon because he's trying to find out, okay, where's the spire? Also, if there's any units, where are those? Because he's coming in with a bit of a mech attack here on the ground as well. So,
he's got no income. He just has to run all of his drones to one base, and it's so heavily oversaturated. Rex just GG's out. And Lemon, he goes and he sits down with all of his mates and he says, so I switched to Terran and I build nothing but BCs. and then they all laugh, and he goes up 1-0.
I don't know what to make of that, actually. I was looking at it like, yeah, no, this should be fine. Like, Rex has got plenty of queens. He's already got the lair, the spies on the way. That looks great. That's going to be awesome for him. Turns out BCs don't die ever. And that's the problem, because especially once you get the Yamato cannon on them and you zap the queens or you zap the spy or whatever, there's a point where he couldn't keep up anymore. It didn't matter how many spores he made or how many spires. Lemon was investing everything into making sure that that never became a thing. And Rex wasn't able to do anything on the ground either, because that's the trade-off. You're going to have basically nothing on the ground. But he did it so well. I think that was just a complete surprise for Rex, and he had no idea what to do, because suddenly we blinked and that was like 10 minutes into the game and there's still actually no tech out for Rex.
Yeah. That was insane. I mean, but the same thing again. Lemon, yesterday, sick game 1. I really want to see him try and convert here, because he's in some hell good form for this tournament. He's got a great build order in that first game, but there's still a series to be played.
Yeah, I like his style. Let's see if we're going to see some more BCs in the next maps. I feel like Rex might have some PTSD after that one, but we're going to go to a break, let him recover after that bruising from the air, and see if he can come back out on top in games 2 and 3. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be back really soon. Welcome back, e-gamers. This could be the last game of the night. If not, it might be the second last game of the night, but we're on the tail end of this broadcast now, and things are a little spicy. If you just missed the last game, you should probably watch the VOD. So we had some interesting BC play from Lemon, who is a recent convert to the Terran race from Zerg. And he schooled Rex a little bit there.
100%. Yeah, that was the closest. That was like the closest thing that I've seen to a StarCraft build being able to use like the descriptive word of gangster, because he just just builds with BCs and just kills him. Like, yeah, absolutely love to see it. At this point, I'm pretty convinced that BC might be an acronym for something that's not battlecruiser.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like we watched that whole game expecting Rex to recover at some point. And then it just kind of ended because he died. He had no money to make overlords, which were dying in mass numbers. He turned everything into a spore. He lost hatcheries.
Yeah.
The tenacity with which Lemon targeted down those spires, scanning every chance he got to look for them. He went 2 CCs behind this. I have no idea how he had any money for a ground army at all to
I don't think he had
anything.
one.
I don't think he
Ground
did
armies
either,
are overrated.
You could see Rex's thinking there, right? Being like, yeah, surely if I send some roaches and lings over there, I can get heaps of damage done. And he did get a little bit done, but wow. Wow, I'm impressed. 2-port BC, guys. It's the way to take out a top tier Zerg in this region.
Yeah.
But is that a trick you can only do once in a best of 3? I feel like surely it should work twice. But does this guy in the bottom left even want to attempt it again? We're on a new map. It's called Tropical Sacrifice. And in the red trunks, this is Lemon.
And up here in the top right hand side, he's had a couple of minutes to collect himself. He's been practicing hard, but if he drops one more game, Zeph, he's going to be knocked out of this tournament. It is the Blue Zerg Rex.
It would truly be an immense surprise to see Rex not quite make it here.
This is like almost like a metaphor of something that I see in other esports. I know I keep making these comparisons and don't really explain myself well, but we come from a minor region here in Australia, and sometimes you see, you know, some of the Australian gamers, they go overseas, they get really good, they learn how to play esports games properly, and then they come back into their minor region and they get hit with the caveman brain and they lose.
Oh, I really like how you phrase that. That's very accurate. Yeah, I think that's.
I don't know if anyone in Korea is doing 2-port BC, but maybe they're considering it now.
Well, BC pops up now and then, but it's, you know, it is a commitment, and you know, people aren't too bad at responding to it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, it's the last thing I expected to see, although I shouldn't be surprised given the wackiness of strategies we do see in the region. But Rex being such a solid player, I mean, he's been 3rd and 4th place a zillion times. If you go further back to the WCS circuit, he was definitely top 2 a few times as well. Usually it's Haas that's sort of ended his run. But to see him actually have a bit of a rough go of it in groups is very, very much an interesting development. And it's the guy that also took a game off Haas, no less. So
look at that. So Reactor Hellions, we're going to pump the CCs. And it's going to be a bit different this time around, Zeph. So not relying on the BC build multiple games in a row. He's going to play this one out a little bit differently. And this is where we'll see, you know, whether it was just a one-game wonder for Lemon or whether he has the solid fundamental play he needs to back up that great Game 1 performance. Because, I mean, you know, for anyone who's only just tuned into the broadcast, yesterday he played quite a good player as well. and he couldn't quite convert after a fantastic game one and a very close game two. He just fell at the final hurdle, and that's really going to sting if in multiple of these series you show a good accounting of yourself, but you just don't quite make it out of the group stage when you're in really good form.
I gotta say, I'm becoming a fan though.
Oh, 100%.
It's a short time to go this well with a sort of new main race. So we'll see how he goes in what looks like a little bit more of a normal 3cc type game. It's Hellion Banshee, great for map control. We've seen how annoying Lemon can be in the sky, so looking forward to seeing how his harassment goes with the Banshees as well. And Rex is already starting to get that creep spread rolling. He's got the queens in position, and he's going to go heavy on those for the defense as well.
Yeah, committing into the cloak here for Lemon. So he's going to have a little Banshee hit squad zooming around the map, looking to try to inflict some damage. Lemon again, just been. I mean, the BC control last map was fantastic, but even in the game yesterday against Haas and in this game, not too much careless unit control really. Seems to be very tight and on point, getting good value out of everything. There you go, good scout from Rex. That, if anything, he has definitely been on top of the scouting and been very, very aware of what he's playing up against. And he's going to pump out that layer ASAP. And hopefully he can get some overseers and a bit more detection rolling for himself.
Yeah, Rex's scouting's actually been pretty good. He picks up on what's going on, even if he doesn't see the tech exactly. I think he's done a pretty good job at deducing what's going on from the information he doesn't receive as well. You know, it's the sort of what you don't see with the gas timings, what units you see at the front of the base, that kind of thing. He's actually quite spot on with that most of the time. He's actually already almost got the lair, and we've got the Bane Nest coming up as well. So he'll have overseers on his side soon, which will really help out against those banshees, because you always have that awkward dance where they're just out of range with your spores in those early stages. This is a fair amount of Hellions though, so there is a concern that he can just slip through while the queens are preoccupied.
I mean, he just finished up Armory, so I think he's going to, transform, and he's going to start to beef him with the Banshees as well and hit a really nice timing. Those Banelings only now just finishing up, should be able to waddle in, but that's a pretty nice split already, Zeph.
It is. We have a fair few transfuses available. Overseer joins the front lines here as well. The Queen's doing their best. Those Hellbats getting really bruised, and he is going to take him out. Banshee's too wounded to keep up the fight there as well. I think he loses one, and that was a really nice defense from Rex, getting those Banelings early enough to combat those Hellbats and taking a front-on fight. Definitely not letting those Hellions slip through before they convert either.
Yeah, really, really just picture perfect defense from Rex. Took absolutely no damage there. Going to be quite happy with how that one went. He's going to add himself in the Spire and keep doing the Zerg dance, adding himself another hatchery. But in the meanwhile, Lemon's been working on that economy. Nothing back at home here, though, to defend against a little bit of a ring run by. A couple of Hellions slip in a little bit late. Only 3 SCVs die, but definitely want to try and saturate this third base and get value out of it ASAP, because he had a really fast CC timing. Again, Rex just phenomenal scouting, knows exactly what he's playing against.
Yeah, and Rex is going to capitalize on the fact that he absolutely smacked that attack. He's going to take a 5th hatchery already. The creep spread definitely continuing to stretch out on the map. He's still got plenty of queens in the mix. He's going to get some lings. This isn't a big Terran force, and a lot of the map presence and control from Lemon is lost at this point. So once there's enough out here for Rex, he can actually just clean this up and creep spread to his heart's content. Even though there's a couple of medevacs out here, I just don't think he really has enough. Oh, yeah. I guess I could pack a bit of a punch, but this is the problem. He's just going to get sort of pulled apart a little bit by these run-bys.
Oh, it's a good pull of the SCVs, though. Oh, no, the Widow Mine picks up at least 1 SCV. I thought it was the 3, but I saw those links dart back in towards that third base location. Rex being really annoying, disrupting the mining as soon as he sees that move out on the map. He forces Lemon to turn back home and defend his base. Couple of Banes wasted there, but not too much of an issue. But it's a good job from Rex. He's keeping Lemon pinked back despite that early 3rd CC timing. Lemon has still struggled to kind of get himself up towards that critical mass of workers, and he wasn't even making SCVs for a fair bit there, and it's just below 30. Only just started another wave of 3, so Rex definitely pretty far ahead in terms of the economy, and now he's starting to get these mutas. He's just doing an excellent job of just chipping away at this economy and disrupting the mining.
Almost leaves that hatchery to live. Is he going to cancel it? No, he's actually focusing, I think, too hard on the front lines and getting the mutas to do some damage behind this. Banelings are still morphing here. A lot of them are trapped behind the ones that are yet to finish their morph. A few drones are going to go down, but this is a hefty amount of Zerg. Mine's helping out a little bit.
There's no
That's
answer.
going to go into the main.
This is not really enough to get enough damage done here, Zeph. For Lemon, he can't really force the issue. He's just going to lose his CC back at home because he's got all of those units active out on the map. He's just trying to do a little bit too much at once there, I feel, and Rex is going to take himself a pretty straightforward game.
Yeah, nicely done. I think maybe in a straight-up game, Rex has Lemon's number. That looked pretty clean from him. I really liked the idea from Lemon. It seems like he wants to pack a big punch early on and try and go off of that. And I do like that he tried to be aggressive afterwards, even though he didn't have a whole lot to work with. Because at that point, if you don't touch the Zerg, he's going to run away with the game. If you do, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of success, so you may as well try just in case he makes a mistake or gets too greedy. But that was, yeah, pretty straight up from Rex. Just great defensive play.
100%. And at the end of the day, despite the fact that he has like so many Hellions and goes in for that Hellbat push on the timing, like Rex just had everything. Like this was just an absolute shutdown. Banelings came in at a decent time despite the spread. You had these cloaked Banshees. Handful of queens weren't quite were just enough to really just shut this completely down, and the Overseer flies in on the perfect timing to deal with the cloak. Like Rex, right in the nick of time, has absolutely everything he needs to defend that attack pretty easily, and from there he knew, like, you know, a player of this experience, a player of this caliber, very much able to close out the rest of the game from there.
Yeah, and the meter choice is really nice too, because he's like, okay, there's no way you have anything that can actually deal with this. And sure enough, it's a full evacuation. He almost killed the CC there at the end. This felt like when you practice defending a specific strategy in a custom map against someone, like, and you figure out all the perfect timings, exactly how many drones you can get out before you gotta put money into tech and all that. So yeah, that's...
And
Rex,
even just the confidence to know, like,
yeah,
you know, less experienced players might be like, oh, maybe I do need my mutas, or maybe I should be picking off reinforcements or something like that. But Rex just literally camps over the third CC and knows that back at home he's got it covered with the reinforcements. So just absolute class being displayed there. And now Lemon, I don't think he's feeling so great as he was after how well that first game went, because that was definitely not a close map of StarCraft. And Rex is, I'm sure, riding this momentum in towards that third map.
yeah, kind of a fool me once, shame on you. But I don't know if he's going to be able to get him again in the third map, but you never know, because if this is the strategy that he's taking to do sort of something that hits reasonably hard and fast, or something unexpected, it could still trip him up. But Rex is well versed in a lot of these tricks as well, so let's see how we go. We have the red Terran spawning in the top right-hand corner for the last time tonight. He is from Mystery Gaming. It is Lemon.
And down here in the bottom left-hand side, the playoffs would look strange without him. It's the Blue Zerg Rex.
So, Lemon, teach us your ways. See what you got in store. I really like players that go for the aggressive option and change it up a lot. So it keeps it fresh, you know, it keeps it interesting, especially when you have such a mix of play styles. I think it's worthwhile having a crack at it and seeing how it goes. But I feel like it's very much up to him to figure out how to beat Rex. Rex can just sit back, play his normal macro Zerg, react to what his opponent's doing, and 9 times out of 10, he should be okay.
Is that CC on the low ground. So feeling confident enough that he's going to be able to defend that and that there shouldn't be too much pressure coming out on his side of the map.
Yeah. It would actually be funny if Rex had been like, you know what, I'm going to go pool first after those first couple of games. But yeah, he's just going to keep it normal. It's a decently short rush distance on this map, especially if the game continues a little bit and you start to open up those extra pathways with the rocks and stuff. It's not a far stretch from like the fourth base to like their third or fourth. So parade pushes can actually be pretty nice from the Terran, but likewise, if you're playing a sort of aggressive Zerg style, it doesn't take you very long to get across the map for that run by at all.
Reaper early gets out of there. Again, just good initial control of his units from Lemon. And he's going to drop a second CC very, very early on here again. And we're seeing Factory Reactor. So assuming that he's going for the same build as we saw last game. And we'll see how he kind of changes things up from there, because obviously it didn't go super well for him. Would be surprised to see him try and shove that Hellbat timing again. So we'll see what kind of point of difference that he makes here in the early to mid game, because like you said, you can't afford to let Rex get into that very comfortable position. He's definitely going to have to chip him down and slow that snowball down at some point. It just remains to be seen how he wants to attempt that.
Yeah. It seems like the plan for Lemon is get an early advantage and a big economy behind that, because in the first game, he built 2 CCs almost at the same time while he was harassing with the BCs, because you invest so much off 2 bases, and he wanted to make sure that he can capitalize off that and really pump out an economy. Also, he wanted a lot of scans so that he could keep sniping the spires. But even in the last game, it was 3 CC again. He wasn't interested in like a full-on 2 base kind of scenario.
Yeah, the problem was that he just kept losing like 4 or 5 SCVs over and over again, or like 3 SCVs here and there, just a couple of Lings running in and just killing enough SCVs to where the early CC timing almost didn't even really matter too much. Just really needs to try and safeguard the economy and get the full value out of that early CC. Obviously, the orbital is a big factor. You're dropping yourself early mules, and that's going to be a bit of a compounding effect over time. Just have that explosion of income. He's going to again land that third CC on location pretty early on here.
Hope he's going for it, hiding behind this harassment. Going to try and roast some drones. He actually is picking up some kills here. The Lings are trying to make that a complicated matter.
That's nice.
Wow, okay, Lemon gets 8 workers out of that, and finally some revenge for the SCVs that he's been losing in his games. There are a few Lings out here, Queens on the patrol, spores coming in, so I'm not envisioning the Banshee doing too much. Is there anything left on the ground to deal with the Lings?
I mean, he's not reinforcing the Hellions anymore out of the factory because he went for that swap of the barracks onto the reactor. He's got no bunker, no anything. He's just like, yep, Banshee's back at home will clear up the Lings. But once those fly out onto Rex's side of the map, that's where, again, I feel like we're going to see this same thing of like all these SCVs are like chilling on the third base location, and Rex just has to send like literally 6 Lings and he gets SCV kills.
Yeah, that third base is looking pretty naked over there. So that might be something that Rex wants to think about. He's actually heading straight into the spire, dropping the 4 gas to support that as he powers up his drone count there. And he can look towards a 4th even once the economy really starts to get moving for him here. We've got Bane speed on the way too for defensive measures. All he's got to contend with are these Banshees, and I'd love to see him keep pushing that creep as he has been as well, because there's just nothing that can answer that at the moment.
He's trying to keep that worker count relatively even, but at the end of the day, those Banshees get cleaned up, and that's not ideal because, those can definitely help out later, just chipping down the creep spread. That's something that Rex has been phenomenal at. Like, his creep spread over this whole series has just been so good. Even right now, like 6 minutes 40, he's getting close towards that halfway point on the map. He's got control of his full side of the map, and he's got so many tumors just spreading out. Here we go, a little bit of a bio push coming up here. Haven't got combat shields or anything, or 1-1 finished up. He's just a little bit of a shove. We get the stim on in. I think he's just looking to pick off Overlords, try to clear some tumors and just force some unit production out of the Zerg here.
Yeah, it's perhaps a little bit early to go in. Combat shield's not done. +1's finishing. +1 shield's still kind of on its way. We're going to see the production start to ramp up a little bit now that he's dropping 3 more racks. We're starting to mix some more mines in, so fairly normal composition. We'll see if he can get some nice mine shots and stuff on his eventual engagement or pressures against these hatcheries, but you definitely need to be doing something against Rex here. Rex only just now dropping those evos, so the attack
Wow,
upgrades.
Really?
Okay, yep. Fair call, I guess.
I mean, yeah, Rex with the muters, pretty brutal, and he is going to take that 2-1 victory. A bit of a shame there